It had been 3 months since Adrian died. He was on a trip to clear his mind, or so he told me. One day I got a call from a hospital out of state. Adrian had passed away from a heart problem, something sudden. What shocked me most was that the hospital said a woman named Clara Beaumont had been with him. She was listed as his emergency contact. Not me. Not our children. I was still dealing with the grief when I found myself sitting in a lawyer's office, trying to stay strong for our kids. Smith, 18, and Lila, 16. They sat on either side of me, both quiet and tense. When the lawyer started reading Adrian's will, I expected sadness, maybe some tears. I didn't expect what came next. He left part of his estate to someone named Clara Beaumont, his savings, our vacation home, a safety deposit box. I felt the air leave my lungs, my hands went cold. "Who is she?" Lila asked, her voice small. I couldn't answer, because I didn't know. Smith stayed quiet, his jaw clenched. As we left the office, my thoughts were spinning. Who was Clara? Why had Adrian given her so much? Was she part of his life in a way I never knew? At home, I locked myself in our bedroom. I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at nothing. My heart hurt. Not just from missing Adrian, but from feeling like I never really knew him at all. That night, I opened his old briefcase. Tucked in one of the side pockets was a photo. Adrian was standing next to a young woman I didn't recognize. She looked like she was in her early 30s. They were smiling, and they were at our vacation home. I flipped the photo over. On the back it said, "Clara, summer 2022. I sat there, frozen. That was last year. My chest felt tight. I had so many questions, but I knew one thing for sure. I had to find out who Clara Beaumont was. I had to know the truth. After the shock at the lawyer's office, I couldn't stop thinking about Clara Beaumont. Her name kept ringing in my ears. Who was she? Why would Adrian leave her something that was supposed to be for our family? I didn't sleep much that night. Smith was locked in his room, probably angry and confused. Lila cried herself to sleep beside me. I just stared at the ceiling, feeling hollow. The next morning, I knew I couldn't just sit around and wonder. I had to find out who this Clara woman was. I decided to start with our vacation home. It was in a quiet beach town about 3 hours away. We hadn't been there since the summer before Adrian left for his trip overseas. It used to be full of life. Our kids playing in the sand, Adrian grilling outside, the sound of waves in the background. Now, it felt cold. Empty. I walked from room to room, hoping for some kind of clue. That's when I noticed a drawer in Adrian's old study. It stuck a little when I pulled it open, and inside I found a scarf. Not mine. It smelled like perfume I didn't recognize. There was also a receipt, dinner for 2 at a restaurant in town, dated just 6 months before Adrian left. I held the scarf in my hands for a long time. I couldn't breathe. Later that night, I sat on the floor of the study and opened another drawer. Inside, I found a small black journal. I almost didn't open it, afraid of what I might find, but I had to know. The handwriting was Adrian's. It wasn't a normal journal. It looked more like notes or letters. Some pages mentioned someone named C. He wrote things like, "She deserves to know me. I owe her that much. Eliza would never understand. I'm trying to do the right thing." My stomach dropped. Was C Clara? And what did he mean by Eliza would never understand? I asked Adrian's friends I could remember and some of his family relatives, but no one could tell me. And then I searched her name online. It wasn't hard to find her. Clara Beaumont ran a small art gallery in the city. Her photo popped up. She looked to be in her early 30s. Brown eyes, confident, stylish. Not what I expected. I went there the next day. I didn't call ahead. I just walked in. She was behind the front counter arranging some paintings. When she saw me, her smile faded a little. Like she knew who I was before I said anything. Clara Beaumont? I asked. Yes. I'm Eliza Harper, Adrian Harper's wife. Her face went pale. She nodded slowly and asked if I wanted to talk in her office. We sat across from each other in a small room with no windows. I could feel my heartbeat in my ears. How did you know my husband? I asked. She looked down. We met a few years ago. He helped me through something. We were close. Were you in love with him? No, she said quickly. Not like that. It's not what you think. Then what is it? She hesitated, then looked me straight in the eye. He meant something to me, but I didn't ask for anything. I didn't even know about the will. I didn't believe her. Not yet. When I got home, I didn't tell the kids about Clara. Not right away. But Lila came into my room that night, holding Adrian's old laptop. Mom, I found something, she said. She had gone through his emails. Some were between him and Clara. They weren't romantic, but they were full of emotion. One said, I want to make up for lost time. You deserve to be part of my life. Leela was shaking. Was Dad cheating on you? No, I said softly. I don't think he was, but I think he was hiding something big. She didn't speak. She just handed me the laptop and walked out. Smith, on the other hand, was angry. So Dad lied to all of us? Was he just living a double life? I don't have all the answers yet, I said, but inside I felt the same. Then I remembered the safety deposit box mentioned in the will. It took a while to track it down, but I finally found the key taped inside a drawer in Adrian's home office. When I opened the box at the bank, I was sweating. Inside were letters. Dozens of them, all addressed to Clara. I took them home, locked myself in my bedroom, and read every one. And finally the truth came out. Clara wasn't Adrian's mistress. She was his daughter. The letters explained everything. Adrian had met Clara's mother before he ever met me. It was a short relationship. He never even knew she was pregnant until years later. Clara reached out to him as an adult. They met. They talked. Slowly they built a relationship. He kept it a secret because he was scared of how I'd react, scared of how it would hurt Smith and Lila. The vacation home? It was for Clara, a way to give her something, to make up for the years he missed. I dropped the last letter on the floor and sat there, stunned. He wasn't cheating. But he had lied. For years. And even though there was no affair, the betrayal still stung just as much. Holding those letters in my hands felt like holding the last pieces of Adrian. But instead of comfort, they brought a deep, aching pain. He had a whole other life, a daughter, and I wasn't part of it. He never trusted me enough to tell me. That hurt more than anything. But now I had the truth. I knew who Clara was. I needed to see her again. I called Clara and asked her to meet me at a quiet cafe. When she walked in, her face looked tight, like she was preparing for a fight. I didn't blame her. I was too. I handed her the letters without saying a word. She opened one, then another. Her hands trembled. After a few moments, tears spilled down her cheeks. I never wanted anything from him, she whispered. Just to know him. You got to know him, I said quietly. I didn't even know he had a daughter. I begged him to tell you, she said. But he was afraid. He said he didn't want to hurt you or the kids. I think he waited too long, and then he ran out of time. We sat in silence for a long time. She finally looked up at me. I don't care about the house or the money. I just wanted him to say I mattered. For the first time I saw her pain, not as someone who took from us, but someone who lost too. I knew I had to tell Smith and Lila everything, no more secrets. We sat together in the living room, the air heavy between us. Clara's not who we thought she was, I began. She's Adrian's daughter, your half-sister. Lila covered her mouth. Smith just stared. He met her after she found him. It wasn't an affair. He was trying to make things right with her, quietly. Lila looked crushed. So, he had a child and never told us? Yes. Did he love her more than us? She asked, her voice cracking. No, I said, holding her hand, but he loved her too, and he didn't know how to tell us without hurting us. Smith stood up, pacing. So, what now, she gets everything? No, I said, but she'll get the vacation house. That was what Adrian wanted. The rest will stay with us. Lila didn't say much, but her tears said everything. Smith looked at me, jaw tight, but nodded. I just wish he'd trusted us, he muttered. I do too. A few days later, I invited Clara to the vacation home. We walked through the house together. She touched the walls, the old couch, the bookshelf. She had never been there before, only heard about it in stories Adrian told her. This place is beautiful, she said. It feels like him. He meant what he said. He wanted you to have it, I said. She looked at me, surprised. You're really okay with that? No, I said honestly. But I'm learning to be. I don't expect anything from you or the kids, she said. But if someday they want to talk, I'd be open to it. I'll leave that up to them. It wasn't a promise of family, but it was a beginning. I started painting again. It had been years since I picked up a brush. But one afternoon, I found my old set in the garage. I took them to the beach and began with soft blues and grays. Just the sky. Then the waves. Then us. Me. Smith and Lila. Walking together. It felt like breathing again. I wasn't the same woman I was before Adrian left. I had been broken, but slowly, I was putting myself back together. One night, I cooked dinner and invited Clara. I didn't tell the kids until just before she arrived. Lila looked nervous. Smith looked annoyed. But they didn't leave. Clara came in quietly. She brought a pie. The table was quiet at first. Then Lila asked Clara about her art gallery. Clara smiled and talked about her favorite artists. Smith didn't say much, but he stayed. By dessert, we weren't family, but we weren't strangers anymore. A month later, we went to the beach. Me, Smith, Lila, and Clara. We took a small box with Adrian's ashes. We stood by the water as the sun went down. I opened the box, let the ashes fall into the waves, and whispered, I forgive you, but I'm choosing me. The wind carried the words away. Lila slipped her hand in mine. Smith stood on my other side. Clara stayed a little back, but close enough. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free.